Amashkayet, good day. I'm here to share book 11C with you from the Uchumyuksh curriculum for advanced learners. As always, we're super grateful to all the amazing contributors who make this resource possible. So book 11C is based on lesson 35, which is page 52 to 53 in the advanced booklet. Huishmash, let's go. Up to now, we have learned that forms that tell somebody performs an action, like Nash can, for I go, and forms that tell somebody performs an action and that somebody else undergoes it, like Nukwan can, I helped him. However, in our language there are forms that only tell somebody undergoes an action. We will call them undergoing forms, and they are made like this. Nukwan chalam, I helped, I am helped. Nukwan chim, you are helped. Nukwanim, he is helped. Nukwantumulum, we are helped. Nukwantam kalap, you folks are helped. Nukwantanim wheat, they are helped. You will have noticed that there are only two new words here, for I am helped and for we are helped. The word for you are helped is the same as we helped you, he is helped, and it also means we helped him. You folks are helped is the same word as we help you folks and they are helped. It also means we helped them. When we have action words that end in S, we get these forms. Huiten stum kalem, I am whistled at. Huiten stumum, you are whistled at. Huiten stum, he is whistled at. Huiten stumulem, we are whistled at. Huiten stam kalap, you folks are whistled at. Huiten stanim wheat, they are whistled at. You will have noticed that the words for you are, he is, you folks are, they are whistled at are the same as we whistle at you, him, you folks, and them. When we want to say that somebody undergoes an action for a while, we put what before the undergoing forms. So we get what nukwan chalam, for I am being helped. What nukwan chim, for you are being helped. And what huiten stum chalam, for I am being whistled at, etc. When somebody does not undergo an action, we put kwa'az kush before the undergoing forms. So we get kwa'az kush nukwan chalam, for I am not helped. Kwa'az kush huiten stum chalam, for I am not whistled at, etc. When somebody does not undergo an action for a while, we put kwa'al kwash before the undergoing forms. So we get kwa'al kwash nukwan chalam, for I am not helped. Kwa'al kwash huiten stum chalam, for I am not being whistled at, etc. When we put I or LH before an undergoing form, we also put AS after the undergoing form. So we get Lani I nukwan chal mash, that is when I was helped. Lani I nukwan chi mash, that is when you were helped. Lani I nukwan mash, that is when he was helped. Lani I nukwan tu mu mash, that is when we were helped. Lani I nukwan tam kalapash, that is when you folks were helped. Lani I nukwan tanim witash, that is when they were helped. As you can see, there is a problem when we put on AS. The forms that end in EM, the forms for I am, he is, and we are, drop the E before the EM when we only have one sound between the stressed vowel and the EM. For example, Nukwan chalam, I was helped, turns into Lani I nukwan chalmash. Punim, he was found, becomes Ulchach punmash. Puntumulam, we were found, equals Ulchach tumulmash. When we have more stressed sounds between the stressed vowel and EM, we leave in the E and we put the stress on it. Punchalim, I was found. Ulcha punchalimash. Nukwanim, he was helped. Lani I nukwanamash. Atchanem, we were seen. Lani I atchanamash. Nukwantumalim, we were helped. Lani I nukwantulamash. When we put LH or I before an undergoing form of an action word that ends in an S, we also have AS at the end. For example, Lani I huitentum chalchamash. That is when I was whistled at. Lani I huitenstumimash. That is when you were whistled at. Lani I huitenstumash. That is when he was whistled at. Lani I huitenstumulamash. That is when we were whistled at. Lani I huitenstamsh kalapash. That is when you folks were whistled at. Lani I huitenstanem witash. That is when they were whistled at. You can see how the stress moves to the E of EM in the forms for I was and we were. We already know that if he helped the chief is nukwanash ti kukpia. Now when we want to say in our language that the chief helped him, we say nukwanim eti kukpia. He was helped by the chief. E before ti, ti means by. The word eti has no stress, but is pronounced as if it was part of the falling word. Note that nukwanim ti kukpia without the E before ti means the chief was helped or we helped the chief. So when the undergoer of an action word is him and we mention the performer by name, we use the undergoing form for him and then we put in eti followed by the performer. When we want to mention the performer by their proper name, we do not use KW, but we put E together with S before the proper name. Wa nukwanim is Charlie. He is being helped by Charlie. When we mention both the performer and the undergoer of an action, we say the action word first, and then we mention the performer and the undergoer in this order. Pelpshash tu nshkuza ni kaposha. My child lost their coat. Pupin ti nshkikda ti kapoha. My mother found a coat. Aus ti nshkatza ti kauha. My father bought a car. When we have a performer, an undergoer, and somebody who it is done for, we get sentences like these. Tawen chash ti nshkatza ti kausha. My father sold me his car. Umen chash kushmam ti shkwalusha. My mom gave me a basket. The order here is action word, person it is done for, performer, and then undergoer. We want to just say that we're so grateful to the Tazil Publishing House, First Peoples Cultural Council, Shmukwim Chief and Council, and Uchumyuch All Nation Services Society. We also want to raise our hands to our amazing speakers, Mishishal Herman Dan, Drew Lyle Peters, Norma Pierre, Alana Woodland, Geneva Quip, Kalak Michael Smith Sr., and Edna Peters. See you next time. Hutmash.